Used to Christine Fitzgerald, a brilliant and gifted healer, who was a close friend and confidant to Diana for 9 years. Because of Christine's understanding of the esoteric, Diana was able to talk to her about matters she would not dare to share with anyone else for fear of being dubbed crazy. It is clear that Diana knew about the true nature of the royal family's genetic history, under reptilian control. Her nicknames for the Windsors were the lizards and the reptiles, and she used to say in all seriousness, "They're not human." There is a very good reason for Diana using this description of the Windsors. As her deprogramming continued, Arizona Wilder remembered clearly a ritual she attended at Clarence House, the Queen Mother's home near to Buckingham Palace, in which Diana was shown who the Windsors really are. It took place in the first 7 days of July 1981, just before Diana and Charles were married on the 29th. This period is the last 7 days of the cycle of the oak tree, according to esoteric law, and the ritual was called the Awakening of the Bride. This is a ritual for all females of the 13 bloodlines who are going to be in publicly high positions and marry reptilians to produce the new generation of rulers. Arizona says that the Queen Mother, the Queen, Prince Philip, Lady Fermoy, Diana's father Earl Spencer, Prince Charles and Camilla Parker-Bowles were all present when Diana was brought into the room. She was wearing a white gown and the drug had been administered by Lady Fermoy. Diana was told that she should consider her union with Prince Charles as only a means to produce heirs and nothing else. Camilla Parker-Bowles was his consort, not her. Arizona says that Prince Philip and the Queen Mother then shape-shifted into reptiles to show Diana who they really were. Diana was terrified, but quiet, she said. Diana was told that if she ever revealed the truth about them, she would be killed. Remember the guy I mentioned who had a call from Diana in the March before she died, asking for his advice on how to reveal information about the royals that would shape the world? The Queen Mother told Diana at the ritual that all ears would be listening to everything she said and all eyes would forever be watching her. This is the classic nowhere to run bind imposed on all mind-controlled slaves. Does anyone believe, therefore, that they would allow Diana into the clutches of Mohammed Al-Fayed if he was not under their control? The ritual also involved the use of a golden penis, Osiris symbolism, which was used on Diana to signify the opening of the womb. Arizona says it was of reptilian shape and size and had needle-like protrusions designed to superficially puncture the walls of the vagina and cause bleeding. Diana was told that after this ritual, she would never be honored again by attending their rituals and she was not to ask questions about them. Now do people understand why Diana suffered from bulimia and serious emotional problems from the time she married Charles? Diana told Christine Fitzgerald that the Queen Mother was the power behind the Windsors, along with Prince Philip. But Philip was subordinate in the hierarchy to the Queen Mother, Diana said. The Queen Mother is connected to a long list of brotherhood groups and societies and she is the head of the Inner Temple, the elite and highly secret society for the upper levels of the legal profession on the former Knights Templar.
Henry the 7th, Henry the 8th, Mary the 1st, Elizabeth I.
Lady Fermoy, who manipulated Diana into the marriage with Prince Charles. This is why Diana was given quarters at the Queen Mother's home, Clarence House, in the weeks before the wedding and she left from there to marry Charles at St. Paul's Cathedral. Diana used to tell me that the Queen Mother was evil. Christine Fitzgerald said she actually used that word, evil. She said she hated the Queen Mother and the Queen Mother hated her. Most people in Britain will be astonished to read this because the Queen Mother's propaganda has turned her into the nation's favorite grandmother. Oh yes, the Queen Mum, such a lovely, gentle, kind old lady. But this woman is not what she is claimed to be. I can't emphasize it enough. During her time at Clarence House before the wedding, Diana says herself that she was being given drugs like the antidepressant, Valium, to treat her bulimia. And what else were they giving her? They drugged her. Christine said, I am sure of it, they had her doped from the start. Christine had many conversations with Diana and she opened her heart about her nightmare life with the Windsors. But Christine's contacts through her work have given her access to other sources with inside knowledge of the British royal family. This was the first time Christine Fitzgerald had talked publicly about her experiences with Diana and what she knows of the reptilian agenda. She told me, the Queen Mother. Now that's a serious piece of wizardry. The Queen Mother is a lot older than people think. To be honest, the royal family hasn't died for a long time. They have just metamorphosized. It's sort of cloning, but in a different way. They take pieces of flesh and rebuild the body from one little bit. Because it's lizard, Because it's cold-blooded, it's much easier for them to do Frankenstein's asterisk than it is for us. The different bodies are just different electrical vibrations, and they have got that secret. They've got the secret of the microcurrents. It's so micro, so specific. These radio waves that actually create the bodies. These are the energies I work with when I'm healing. They know the vibration of life, and because they are cold-blooded, they are reptiles. They have no wish to make the earth the perfect harmony it could be, or to heal the earth from the damage that's been done. The earth's been attacked for eons by different extraterrestrials. It's been like a football for so long. This place was a bus stop for many different aliens. All these aliens, they could cope with everything, including the noxious gases. They're landing all the time and coming up from the bowels of the earth. They looked like reptiles originally, but they look like us when they get out now through the electrical vibration, that life key I talked about. Or the real knowledge has been taken out and shredded and put back in another way. Powerful. Balmoral is a very, very nasty place. That's somewhere they want to dig underground. They are just in awe at the didn't put back in another way. The Queen Mother is chief toad of this part of Europe, and they have people like her in each continent. They are just in awe at these people because they are so powerful. Balmoral is a very, very nasty place. That's somewhere they want to dig underground. They will find reptile fossils. It goes back that far. Don't think of people like the Queen Mother and Queen Victoria as different people. Think of them as the same person, which after a while has had to replace their coat. When the flesh dies, that energy, while it's dying, will be immediately up someone else's jacksy backside. It's very vampire, worse than vampire. They are not going to come to you with hooked teeth and suck your blood. Fear is their food. They can actually take fear and
Putin has told senior staff and close associates that he believes Queen Elizabeth II shapeshifted while greeting him as a show of strength and a warning to not to mess with the dominant reptilian Illuminati bloodline. As your newswire has reported, remember now that world source media is not stating that this is true, but we are only sharing what has been said. Brave Vladimir Putin has told senior staff and associates that Queen Elizabeth II is not human but is a reptilian that shapeshifts between human and reptile form, and according to sources close to the president, he has witnessed her shapeshift in the flesh, before his very eyes, and in his opinion, as a warning to him personally. Putin met the Queen at the 17th anniversary of the D-Day landings in Normandy, France in 2014. He was widely criticized by the Western media for failing to help the monarch up the stairs, and keeping his distance from her in general. It has now emerged that Putin stayed as far away from the Queen as possible because he witnessed her shapeshift moments earlier. The Queen has a long reptile face, almost like a beak, and she is a sickly greyish watercolor. She shifted between this form and her human state 3 or 4 times while greeting Putin. He also saw her shapeshift later while she was being helped to her position for the world leaders photo op by Barack Obama and New Zealand's Governor-General Jerry Maitpower. Her hands turned into reptile hands while they helped her up the stairs. When she smiled, her teeth changed into sharp reptile teeth and glistened. Putin has told senior staff and close associates that he believes she shapeshifted while greeting him as a show of strength and a warning to not to mess with the dominant reptilian Illuminati bloodline of which she is a high priestess. Putin's first-hand experiences with the reptilian Illuminati chime with my own research and second-hand accounts. I have dedicated the last 5 years to researching the elusive, tyrannical powers that rule our world, traveling to over 80 countries, and it never ceases to amaze me how many people from very different walks of life have told me stories about seeing people briefly turn into reptilians before their very eyes. I've been told this by Californian news anchors, Ethiopian goat herds, and Australian aboriginals, just to name a few. A Danish taxi driver described driving past a group of VIP guests at the 2014 Bilderberg meeting in Copenhagen and seeing some of their faces turn reptilian and some of their hands and feet take on a reptilian look. A respected psychic told me she sees people in power, like Obama, David Cameron and Hillary Clinton, turn into reptiles whenever she watches an international news channel. The world's ruling class have tyrannical control over the mainstream media, as well as our food, water, and air supply, and they are actively dumbing down the masses. The evidence against them, ancient and modern, is enormous and continuing to grow. Let us